You've probably heard of Andrew Huberman, right? He's one of the most famous neuroscientists in the world right now. But his story, it's not some straight shot to the top. It's this incredible transformation from a really troubled kid to a hyper-focused academic. Today, we're going to dig into the science behind his story and the playbook he basically discovered for changing your own brain.
I mean, it's pretty hard to connect the disciplined, focused Stanford professor we see today with that statement. But this quote, it really is the heart of his entire story. It's just a powerful reminder that where you start doesn't have to be where you finish. So how on earth did he do it? Let's break down the science.
All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to kick things off with his origin story. Then we'll get into the science of dopamine and this amazing thing called neuroplasticity. After that, we'll cover a toolkit you can literally start using today for zero cost. And finally, we'll talk about how to master your energy to get things done. Okay, so to really get the science, you first have to understand the problem Huberman was basically forced to solve in his own life. And trust me, his early days were anything but structured and academic.
So after his parents went through a really messy divorce, Huberman describes himself as going feral. We're talking getting into fights, ditching school, just running wild. It got so bad that he was put into a residential treatment program where he had zero freedom. But then, everything changed. The turning point came on July 4th, 1994. After getting into another big fight, he went home and wrote this letter to himself and his parents, just vowing to get his life under control. And from that day on, he became what his girlfriend at the time called a monster of learning, just channeling all that energy into his schoolwork and completely rewriting his own story.
So what is actually going on inside your brain when someone makes a change that radical? Well, the first piece of the puzzle is a molecule you've definitely heard of, but maybe not in the way you think: dopamine.
And right away, we have to clear up a huge myth. Most of us think of dopamine as the pleasure molecule, right? It's the good feeling you get when you finally achieve something. But Huberman makes it super clear that's not right. Modern neuroscience shows it's actually the molecule of motivation. It's the engine that drives you to go after a goal, not the feeling you get when you score.
So how does this engine actually work? Think about it like a seesaw. When you do something that's really stimulating, could be anything from a great workout to eating junk food to winning a video game, you get this huge spike, a huge peak in dopamine. But, and this is the most important part, for every peak, there is an equal and opposite trough that dips below your original starting point. During that peak, you feel like you're on top of the world. You're motivated, thinking big, ideas are flowing. But then you hit the trough, and you feel totally depleted, uninspired. All of a sudden, it takes so much more effort just to feel normal again. And what do most of us do when we're in that trough? We chase another peak, right? But all that does is push our baseline motivation lower and lower over time. Just understanding this one dynamic is a total game changer. Okay, so if dopamine is the fuel for change, what's the actual vehicle? It's one of the most freeing, most powerful concepts in all of neuroscience: neuroplasticity. This is your brain's built-in superpower to literally rewire itself.
We've all heard this a million times, right? This idea that as we get older, we just get stuck in our ways, that our habits, our personality, they're all basically set in stone. But what does the science have to say about that?
Yeah, let's just go ahead and destroy that myth right now. The answer, according to Huberman and basically all of modern science, is a massive, unequivocal yes. Your brain can make profound changes through your entire life. This is not just something for kids.
So what is neuroplasticity? It's the actual biological process that allows for all learning, all new skills, all habit change. It is how your brain physically reorganizes its own wiring based on your experiences. This is not a metaphor, it's a physiological fact. You are not stuck.
But, and this is a big but, the rules for neuroplasticity change as we age. Before you're about 25, your brain is like a sponge. You can learn things passively, just by being around them, like picking up a language. But after 25, your brain needs very specific conditions to change. The two magic ingredients are intense focus and a state of alertness. And that right there, that explains exactly how Huberman became that monster of learning. It wasn't just about reading books, it was about the intense, active focus he brought to it, which physically rewired his brain.
So, knowing your brain can change is amazing. But how do you actually make it change? Well, this is where it gets really practical. Huberman is a huge advocate for several powerful, science-backed tools that cost nothing and you can start doing them today. First up is something called non-sleep deep rest, or NSDR. It's super simple. You just lie down with your eyes closed, you focus on long exhales to calm yourself down, and then you do a body scan, just mentally relaxing each part of your body one by one. The goal is to get into a state of really deep rest while you're still awake. And here's the magic. Studies show that NSDR can actually help restore your baseline levels of dopamine. It's like refilling your motivation tank without needing to chase a high. The second tool is even simpler: morning sunlight. Sometime within the first hour of waking up, just get outside for 5 or 10 minutes. No sunglasses, and yeah, it still works even if it's cloudy. This one simple action triggers a healthy release of cortisol, the good kind, that wakes you up, boosts your mood and focus for the entire day, and actually sets a timer in your brain to help you sleep better that night. It's a fundamental anchor for your biology. Okay, so let's tie this all together. We have our motivation engine, dopamine. We have our rewiring superpower, neuroplasticity. The final piece is putting it all to work to manage our energy so we can actually perform at our best without completely burning out. According to Huberman, the ideal state for learning, for focus, for just about anything in life isn't being maxed out and frantic. The magic recipe is being both alert and calm. This is that sweet spot of focused energy where you can direct your attention where you want it to go without feeling stressed and overwhelmed. And the tools we just talked about, they're designed to help you get there.
A quote Huberman picked up from a former Navy SEAL just perfectly captures this whole idea. Think about it. You can be on your heels, flat-footed, or leaning forward, ready for action. Life isn't about always being in that forward center of mass state, going full tilt all the time. That's just a recipe for burnout. The real skill is mastering the transitions between those states, from deep rest to being ready to taking focused action and then back again.
Looking back at that pivotal moment on July 4th, what Huberman really did was decide to take full ownership. He literally says he had to learn how to mother and father himself to provide the discipline and structure that he needed. The science is totally clear that you can change. The tools are out there and they're available to everyone. So the only real question left is, who's in charge of your transformation?